Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes Tottenham blog. Today I'm going to be giving my player ratings from yesterday's 3-1 comeback victory against Aston Villa in the first day of the Premier League season. So before I get started, if you are new here and you want more content like this plus different interactive live streams, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and press that notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload. So starting in goals, I'm going to give Hugo Lloris a 6.5. Now, throughout the game, Lloris didn't have much to do. He had a few handy saves to make, mainly in the first half. He was good playing out from the back, but again, there wasn't too much he had to do. And on the goal, I don't think he could have done any better for that because it was a good low finish from John McGinn. So I'm not going to kind of take any points away from Hugo Lloris there. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. Now, moving on to right back, I thought Kyle Walker-Peters was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. In that first half, he caused Villa a lot of problems getting forward. Because we were playing that diamond in midfield, we lacked width in the attack, so he was making some really good runs and he's playing really, really high up down that right hand side. And I think it was clear that Pochettino was kind of prioritising him going forward rather than Danny Rose in that first half. I think it might have been because of Villa's tactics, because Anwar El Ghazi, who was playing out in the left wing, wasn't tracking back very much, and it opened up a lot of space for Kyle Walker-Peters in behind him, and Walker-Peters really exploited it brilliantly. His end product wasn't too good for the majority of the half, but I do think it was encouraging that he was getting into those good positions. And even when he was getting forward so much, I thought he was solid defensively as well. He has been caught out of position a lot of times in the past, but he wasn't at all yesterday. He made some really good recovery tackles, he showed pace, he showed strength. And for a player who's probably not going to be our first choice right back this season, he was thrown right into the deep end. And I think for the third season in a row now, he started our first game in right back. And yeah, it was a pretty decent performance from him, and I was really impressed. And I'm a bit worried about him playing there next week against Manchester City because it'll be a completely different ball game. But look, focusing on today, I thought he was really good. Now, Davinson Sanchez playing in centre back, I'm going to give him a 6.5. He was caught out really poorly for the goal. That long ball from Tyrone Mings, he was kind of too focused on the battle with Wesley rather than going to win the ball, and it went straight over his head, which allowed John McGinn making that late run from midfield to get in behind. So I think Sanchez should be more to blame than anyone else for that goal. I know a lot of people are saying Rose was probably more to blame. I'll get on to that in a second. But look, throughout the game, Sanchez, he made some important tackles, some important blocks. But like Lloris, there was nothing major from him. So I'm going to give him a 6.5. Now, Toby Alderweireld, I'm going to give him a 7. Having looked back at the goal, I think Alderweireld's positioning for the goal could have been a bit better. He was way out on that right-hand side, which from defending a goal kick seems a bit strange, but I'm not going to blame him for the goal. It was a decent performance from him. Nothing major again. I thought his passing was really, really good throughout the game. He was, getting the ball into midfield, and he had a few diagonal balls as well that were good. So I'm going to give him a 7. Moving on to left back, Danny Rose, who I think was probably again one of the best players on the pitch. I'm going to give him an 8.5. With regards to that goal, I think he probably should have done a bit better around in the cover, getting in there for John McGinn. But with McGinn making that late run from midfield, I thought Sissoko maybe should have tracked that. Because, as I said, Alderweireld was pulled so far out of position, Danny Rose ultimately had to deal with Trezeguet and John McGinn. And I know Trezeguet was out wide and the initial danger was McGinn, but it was really difficult for Rose to make that recovery run in behind. And when he got there, maybe he should have done a bit better. He was sold by that dummy, which of course allowed McGinn to put it into the bottom corner. But I'm not going to blame him too much for that. Apart from that, he was absolutely outstanding, and it was from the first whistle really. He had that cross for Lucas Moura very early on. I think it was just the 4th minute. A really good first time early ball which put it straight onto Lucas's head on the penalty spot, and unfortunately Lucas couldn't convert, but it was a fantastic cross from Danny Rose. And defensively as well, he was outstanding. He made some really good tackles, and it seemed that every 50-50 he went into, he came out with the ball. So it was a really good performance from Danny Rose, and it just shows how lucky we are that he didn't actually leave over the summer. Now for Harry Winks, I'm going to give him a 7.5. It was a typical tenacious performance from him in that defensive midfield role. Defensively, he seemed to win every tackle he went into, and he was good on the ball as well. He was picking passes out, as he does, transitioning from the different phases of play. And I think what kind of sums him up as a player was that tackle he made around the half-hour mark, when we had a corner that was cleared out, and Jack Grealish looked to be running into straight through on goal, and Winks coming across from the central role with a fantastic challenge to stop Jack Grealish, and he took it past one or two men and passed it off. I think he was a bit unlucky to be taken off early, but it's completely understandable why he was. It was nothing to do with his performance. It was purely a tactical substitution to bring Christian Eriksen on, who did ultimately change the game. So it was unfortunate he was taken off, but it was a really good performance from Winks. Then Tanguy Ndombele, I'm going to give him an 8. Now, as Pochettino said, it took him a while to adjust to the pace of the game, which you would expect coming from the French league into the Premier League, going like straight into the deep end. It was it's a really different game, and the pace of it and the physicality, which he does have the capabilities to deal with, but it was a different thing for him, and it took a while for him to adjust. And Pochettino even said after the game, and Dembele was only playing at 30 or 40%, which is really encouraging for us because he did have a really good game. There are some good moments with his passing, his dribbling, his tackling, all the things we know he can do. We're just seeing little glimpses of them. And of course, the goal that he scored was a fantastic goal, and it was a typical defensive midfielder goal. Like I saw Sergio Busquets do it for Barcelona last week. When he gets the ball in that position, he didn't shoot, he almost passed the ball into the corner. And it was such an important goal because it completely changed the game. So I'm going to give him an 8, mainly for the importance of the goal that he did score. Now, Sissoko, this is one I've seen debated a lot on Facebook and Twitter over the last 18 or so hours since the game. Look, he was being played out of position with the likes of Ericsson on the bench. Ali was injured. We were missing Son and even Sessegnon and Lo Celso we can include in there as well. He was put into a much more advanced position, and there was a lot more onus on him to be the creative player in there. And that's just not what he's good at. We saw it yesterday with that chance he had, even at the 6 yard box that went for a throw. He's just not that type of player who is usually in those positions, and when he is there, he's just not great. The one goal he has scored for us against Huddersfield was from the 6 yard box, and it took 2 or 3 deflections. So it kind of proves he's just not that player. But having said that, I think he did pretty well. Like you just have to look at that assist he got for Kane for the last goal, carrying it from midfield. And even though it was just a simple pass, it was the perfect weight, the perfect timing. Everything about it was right, and it's more than just a simple pass giving it to Harry Kane. So I'm going to give Sissoko a 7 because I think he did well, considering he was out of position. And I was a bit annoyed with the people saying, "Oh, he's absolutely useless. We need to sell him now." I mean, he had a really poor season, but last season he was absolutely exceptional, and the fans were singing his name every game. So I think one poor performance out of position, it's way too early, and it's just extremely harsh to be saying that he needs to be sold. Now, Eric Lamela, it was the usual thing from him. He was given absolutely everything, but unfortunately, he just didn't have that creative spark or that finishing product. So I'm going to give him a 7. As I said, he was pressing so well, and he was making runs off the ball, and it was just exactly what we'd expect to see from Eric Lamela, exactly what we saw from him in pre-season. He was running all over the place, but the quality just wasn't there, unfortunately. But look, he won the ball back from Jack Grealish for the winning goal, which we have to acknowledge the importance of. It was a really good tackle from behind. It's a difficult challenge to make because you're always going to you have the chance of clipping the player or something and giving a free out. But it was a perfect challenge. I'm sure VAR would have looked at it. So I'm going to give Lamela a 7. Then Lucas certainly wasn't the best game I've ever seen from him in a Tottenham jersey. I know that bar is set high, but I mean he had the shot from distance after about 20 seconds when he closed down El Mohammadi and carried it out to the box and put it over the bar, which kind of I thought was going to set the rhythm for the game, but unfortunately we never got going from there. He had that chance after 4 minutes, as I mentioned, from the Danny Rose cross. We know he's not the best in the air, but I think a free header from there, he might have even had time to take it down. I was a bit disappointed with him. He was a bit slow in possession, and he didn't show us what he can do. So I'm going to give him a 6. And then Harry Kane, a quiet game until the 85th minute, and then he scores 2 and wins it for us. It's exactly what you want from a clinical striker. When he wasn't getting the chances, when the creativity around him wasn't there, he was dropping deep, he was pulling out wide, he was getting in possession, and he was trying to just keep the game flowing, and he was trying to keep the attacks going, really, and that's what you want from him in that position. He had a chance towards the end of the first half, a brilliant clip ball from Ndombele, but it was a really difficult header because he had to generate all the power on it himself, and he was going backwards, so we can't criticise him too much for that. But look, when the chances came, he took them clinically, which is what we expect from him. The first one on his left foot, a powerful strike, easy enough finish, but he still had to be there to do it. And then the second one was a brilliant finish, just curling it out around the defender and inside the far post. And then Christian Eriksen, he came off the bench just after the hour mark, and when he came on, the game completely changed. Now I know it wasn't only him who changed the game, but I don't think it was a coincidence that it did happen after his introduction. I'm sure the formation change as well, taking off a defensive midfielder for the attacking player, did help a bit as well. But Eriksen was absolutely exceptional. His first corner, fans were thinking, here we go again. First one hit the first man, but after that he was brilliant. The goal that Ndombele scored just after the Sanchez chance, it was a superb ball from Christian Eriksen, curling it in and around the defence. The keeper can't come, the defenders can't clear it, into that perfect little alleyway between them. And Sanchez was unfortunate not to score, but of course Ndombele eventually did. And the free kick from Christian Eriksen. And I just thought it was one of the best performances we've seen from him over the last year and a half. And it just shows how lucky we are that so far we have held on to him. But there's still another 3 or 4 weeks to go where we need to make sure that he can get tied down to a new contract and that he'll stay at the club because he showed yesterday everything he's about. He's so important for us. And there were a few players that came off the bench, George Kevin and Kudu and Oliver Skip, but it was too late for them to make any sort of an impact. I think they both came on after we went 2-1 up, so there wasn't much for them to do. Nkudu did have, I think, one chance. He good run down the left hand side, showing his pace, but there wasn't enough there really to judge them on. Now, with the formation that we played yesterday, this is something I was talking about over pre-season. I don't think the diamond is something that suits our style of play. It's what we did in the first half. We changed to a 4-4-2 at the start of the second half, and then when Winks came off for Ericsson, there was another bit of a change there. And Pochettino himself even said it was his own fault how bad it went in the first half. It was his tactics that let us down. So I don't know if we will see that 4-1-2-1-2 again, but I think it was important that Pochettino spotted that error, and he didn't think, well, this is what I want to do in the future, so let's keep this going and see what happens. He made that change, and it was really important that he did. So look, all in all, it was a great day. Poor performance for a bit, but it's the first game of the season. You're not expecting a world-class performance. All you want is the 3 points, and thankfully we've gotten that. So now on to Manchester City next weekend. So if you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want more content like this, press the subscribe button down below and click that notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload or I go live. Thanks for watching.